We all know the feeling, right? The price of your favorite coffee goes up, and suddenly you're thinking twice before buying it. That's Economics 101. But what if I told you that the price, well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Today, we're going to dig into the hidden currents of demand, the really powerful forces that shape what we buy, long before we even look at the price tag.
So, let's kick things off with a little puzzle. Picture a hotel in the Caribbean. In the middle of a freezing winter, it is absolutely packed. Rooms are booked solid. But then summer rolls around, and those same exact rooms are sitting empty even when the prices are lower. The hotel didn't change, so what gives? If it's not the price, what's really going on here?
Here's how we're going to crack this thing. We'll start with price itself. Then we'll look at your wallet's influence, the ripple effect from other products, the power of your own tastes and expectations, and finally, we'll put it all together. All right, section 1. Let's lay down the foundation. This is the one rule about demand that pretty much everyone gets intuitively. It's called the law of demand, and it's a really simple but powerful idea. Basically, if you hold everything else constant, when the price of something goes up, the quantity people are willing to buy goes down. I mean, think about it. If your morning latte is $2, that's an easy yes. But if that same latte suddenly costs $7, yeah, it might just become a once-a-week treat instead.
Now here's a key idea in economics. That change in price, it doesn't really change your overall desire for lattes. It just changes how many you're willing to buy at that specific price. This is what economists call a movement along the demand curve. You're just sliding from one point to another on the same basic curve of your preferences.
And boom, this slide right here, this is the core idea of our entire explainer. Seriously, understanding the difference between moving along a curve and shifting the entire curve, that is everything. A price change just causes a simple movement, but a whole shift, well, that's caused by all the other fascinating forces we're about to get into. This is where things get really interesting.
So what's the first big thing that can shift the whole curve? It's pretty straightforward, the amount of cash in your wallet. But how a change in your income affects your buying habits isn't always as simple as more money, more stuff.
Economists basically split goods into two big categories here. First, you've got normal goods. Think of something like a minivan. As a family's income goes up, their demand for a minivan often goes up too. Makes sense. But then you have these other things called inferior goods, where the exact opposite happens. When your income goes up, you actually demand less of these things, because now you can afford what you see as a better alternative.
Our source material uses this fantastic example. For Harry, pumpkin juice is an inferior good because he only buys more of it when he's low on cash. You see, it's not a judgment on the pumpkin juice itself. It's just a label that reflects how his spending power changes his choices.
All right, next section. You have to remember, no product exists in a vacuum. The demand for one thing is always getting nudged and pulled by the prices of other things. It creates this huge ripple effect across the entire market. And this ripple effect really works in two major ways. First, you've got substitutes. Let's say the price of an SUV just skyrockets. Well, guess what? The demand for a more affordable minivan might shoot up. There's substitutes for each other. Then, on the flip side, you have complements, things we tend to buy together. If the price of beer goes up, people might buy less beer, and as a result, the demand for its best friend, pizza, could drop right along with it. Here's a perfect modern-day example of complements in action. A few years ago, the price of big-screen TVs fell through the floor. And it wasn't just TV sales that exploded. The demand for streaming services also went way up. Of course it did. You need something great to watch on that great new screen. Okay, so we've talked about money. Now let's get into the psychological stuff. A huge part of what we demand is shaped by what's going on inside our own heads. You know, our personal tastes and what we expect is going to happen in the future.
Tastes are a massive driver of demand. Just think about a new health study that suddenly makes kale popular, or a fashion trend that takes off out of nowhere. Or, like this example shows, if there's a societal shift and people start having bigger families, the entire demand curve for minivans would shift to the right, totally separate from price or income. And it's not just about what you want right now, it's also about what you expect to happen tomorrow. If you know you've got a raise coming next month, you might start going out for nicer dinners this month. And if you hear on the news that gas prices are about to jump 20 cents overnight, what happens? The demand for gas goes crazy today because everyone rushes to fill up their tanks. Okay, final section. Let's pull all these ideas together and take a look at the complete picture of what's really driving demand. This table right here, it sums up everything perfectly. Take a look. Notice that only one, just one, variable on this list causes a simple movement along the curve, and that's the price of the good itself. Everything else, your income, the prices of other goods, your tastes, your expectations, all of those cause a fundamental shift of the entire curve. That is the single most important takeaway.
So let's nail down the lingo, because it's actually really important. When an economist says there's a change in quantity demanded, they are only talking about a movement along the curve caused by a price change. But when they say there's a change in demand, they mean the whole curve has shifted because of one of those powerful non-price factors we've been talking about.
And that brings us all the way back to our Caribbean hotel. The demand didn't just move, it shifted. It was never about the price, it was about taste. That desire for a warm, sunny escape is just way, way stronger in the dead of winter. So the next time you see a product's popularity explode or just fade away, try to look past the price tag. Ask yourself, what invisible force is really shifting the curve?